He's eating my seashells. How is it going, everyone, and welcome back to the channel Cornertwist and to the class of Sub 20, where I will be teaching you how to be Sub 20 as fast as possible. We have a special guest today, my cat. He's just living his best life back there. We're going to talk about what we've gone over in the previous videos. This is part 4 of a 4-part F2L, Advanced F2L series that we're doing. In the first Advanced F2L video, we covered the corner pieces being in the U layer as well as the edge pieces, so these two. In the second video, we covered the cases where you have the corner pieces in the U layer and the edge pieces in the E. And then in the third part, last video, we covered the ones where we had the corner pieces in the D layer, where we also had the edge pieces in the E. So that leaves us today with the final cases that we'll be looking at, and those are the edge pieces being within the U layer, and then the corner pieces being in the D layer. Keep in mind, these videos are structured to be watched all together and not just individually, so if this is the first video you're watching, just be prepared for me to use terminologies that you may or may not be familiar with. If you are new here, I highly recommend going back and watching the previous videos that I've made, at least for Advanced F2L for now. And of course, feel free to subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment, but no likes. Alright, without further ado, let's get right on into it. So right away, I'm going to address the fact that this is not going to be an F2L tricks video. This is simply meant to teach you how to intuitively pair the pieces together that you're working with and to find the most optimal solutions for them. If you want to learn F2L tricks, by all means, go out and check other videos on it, or wait till I make videos on them myself. But yeah, just keep in mind that we will be working through these intuitively as best as we can going forward. Alright, so the very first case we come to, I'm going to address this where you have this corner piece here with the white corner sticker facing downwards and this edge piece oriented like this in a good orientation. I want you to notice that this is the last layer as all of these columns have already been filled. So I'm going to show you how to do this one in particular first, and then we'll come back to whenever you have more columns available because there's a better way to do these. Alright, so if this is your last pair right here, and again all of these are already filled, the other columns, then you can simply put this piece right here, and notice that it is oriented, so that way whenever we bring up both of these pieces, we can just break them apart, and then now we have these ready to be inserted into the front slot with no rotation. Alright, now I'm going to show you what you can do whenever you have one or both of these columns next to this one available, or even the back one really. We're not really going to be getting into a keyhole just yet, but you can still utilize the principles of it. In the last video, I went over this briefly in one of the cases, and I'm going to do it again here because it is the most efficient. When you have these other columns available to work out of, you can move this whole layer out of the way. So in this case, we have a corner piece here, which is actually in the correct spot between these two cross piece edges. It just needs to have this edge piece join it within this column. So since both these columns here are junk right next to this one, take this one for instance. If you just had this one, you can bring in one of these useless pieces that we don't need, slot this one in like it was already connected to a good piece, a good corner piece, and just go ahead and put this one in just like that, and then move this back over underneath it, and then that will complete the column. If that's confusing, you can visualize what I'm doing by picturing this corner piece being linked with this edge piece right here. So instead of a blue and red being right here, you can picture a green and red being here along with the white. So really you're slotting both of these in to this, but you want to do it after you move this one out of the way. So again, it looks like this, and then simply slot it back in. Because if we look at it now, both of these pieces are here. It's clear to see that this is a case that you've worked with before. All you're doing is just inserting it like that. Another option you can do with this is to actually turn these two into this case, where now they're like this. And then you know this from the first video, where all you need to do to fix this is to turn this layer like that, move the corner out of the way, and then bring the edge piece back up, and then that will set them up into a opposite pairing, where then you can pair them, you can insert them into the front slot like that. And if we're looking at this case from the back in the same way, we can do the same thing by putting this piece right here, bringing up this corner piece right here, and then breaking them apart so then we can go ahead and slot them into the back, just like that. So for this case, you can do exactly what we did before with the keyhole idea. Since this edge piece is now not oriented, we can't just insert this into this spot. So instead, starting back from here, if you just move this corner piece out of the way, you can then insert this by pretending that you have a sledgehammer that you can perform on this like that, and then move this corner piece back. Again, if you're confused as to what's going on there, imagine you have this pair right here, and you can just sledgehammer that in. And then again, if you don't want to use that one, or if it's last slot situations, you can move this piece off to the side like that, and then you can bring up this corner piece just like that, and it'll pair these two together, where you can then either sledgehammer, or I would suggest rotate and then insert into the back slot like this. Alright, let's take a look at this one again, where we have pretty much the same setup as last time, only this corner piece is in the similar column, and the edge is now oriented again. So just like what we did for the first one, we're going to take this edge piece and move it here, and then we're going to bring it up like that. And you just need to break these apart by using any bad column. Break them apart like this, and then now you have a bad pairing that or not really bad, an opposite pairing that you have ready to insert into the back slot, like this. And then whenever you have this corner piece in an opposite column, where they normally pair up and go into this one, in either one of these columns, you can take out this corner piece, but before you do, move this edge piece over here, and then bring this one out. Upon doing this, you will move this here, bring this one out, and then now you have an opposite pairing ready to be inserted into the front, just like that. Alright, now going back into the similar column, these two pieces, this one's edge is now unoriented. You can just do the same thing as before, where you move this one off to the side, bring this corner piece up, and then pair them together like this, and then rotate into the back slot like that. I would recommend just to move this one off to the side like this, and then bring up this corner piece. And then now you can pair these together in a good pairing, such as that, and then all you have to do is rotate from here, and then insert this pair into the back slot back here, just like that. Alright, so that was one category of cases that we're going to be looking into. Now we're going to be moving into the ones where we have the white sticker facing the side, rather than it being down here. So starting from here, if this is our home grip, we have the corner piece down here in this position, and then the edge is oriented. So from here, all we have to do is take this edge piece, move it here, where then you can bring this corner piece up, move it out of the way, and then bring this back, and then you end up with an opposite pairing that you can then insert into the front, like that. And I hope it's obvious so far in the video, but if you have a case where this is anywhere else in the U layer, like say back here, all you need to do is identify that you have it back here, and then move it to the correct spot. So that seems fairly obvious, but yeah, if it was right here, I would imagine that I needed to be right here, so I just go ahead and put it there, take it out, and then insert. The same is true from the back, where the edge is still oriented, and you have this case set up. You just move this off to the side, bring these two out, now you have an opposite pairing, and since the edge is oriented, you can go ahead and insert them into the back slot, like this. And then if you have this piece in an opposite column, where normally these two pieces go in this one, since the edge is oriented, all you need to do to pair these two up is to bring up this corner piece. They go together in a good column, move them out of the way, fix this cross piece, and then in the same move, so whenever you do this, just do an R2 pretty much, then you can insert this pair into this column, just like that, and that inserts it into the back slot. And then again, if you're in the other opposite column, just take these out, pair them together, move these back over here, and then now you have this pair ready to slot into this side, just like that. Alright, so back here where we have both these pieces that need to be paired up right here, the matching column's right in front of us, so whenever we bring up this corner piece, it matches up to the edge piece, but since it is unoriented, whenever we bring it out like this, we will have to rotate. So go ahead and rotate and insert it into the back slot. The same is true if you're working out of the similar column where this corner piece resides. All you need to do is connect this corner piece to the edge piece by bringing it up into the top layer like that, moving it out of the way, and then now you will need to rotate to put this pair into the column right here. So rotate, go ahead and put that back there like that, and there you go. Then now we're working with the corner piece being in an opposite column where normally they go here. From here, we just need to take this edge, put it here, take these apart, and then now you have again the opposite pairing where you can then just rotate and then put these into the back slot, just like that. And then of course the same thing is done from the other side of the queue where the other opposite column is. We just take this edge piece, put it right here again, take this corner out, move this way, and then now you're set up once again with the opposite pairing. Rotate, insert both of these into the back slot. Alright, back in the matching column where both of these two will reside. I have my edge piece oriented right here. All I need to do is take this edge piece, move it here, and then whenever I bring up this corner piece, just like this, these two will pair together, and then you can insert them into the front slot. And then being in the similar column, once again, all we need to do with this oriented edge is put it here, where we'll do the same thing. So we just take them out, pair them together just like that, and then now they need to go in this column, so we'll just bring it up, put them onto that column, and then insert. Right, so here we're in an opposite column, where normally these two pieces go into the matching one right here. The edge piece is still oriented, so what we need to do here is instead of put this edge piece here, we're actually going to move it one more time to the back like this, and then take this out. This pairs these two up in an opposite pairing just like that, and you will be able to insert. Same thing is true from the opposite side of the cube, where we're in the other opposite column right here. We just need to take this and put it not here, but here. Take this corner up, and then now that turns it into an opposite pairing, where we will then be able to just turn the U layer one time and then put these two into the back slot. And then for this case here, where you're working with the corner piece in the opposite column here, where that normally would go here, I want to showcase this trick because it is very useful. You can do this the normal way, and there's nothing wrong with that by putting this edge piece back here, getting them out, and then setting them up like that. But if you do this algorithm, which is called hedge, I believe, in Sledgehammer you go F, R prime, and this one you would go R prime, F, and then undo those two moves out of order, so like this. And by doing that, that pairs these two together, where then you can go ahead and insert into the back slot like that. And of course this works the same way from the front facing position too. So if we just go ahead and do that, it'll make this pair, and then you can insert this rotationless. And of course you guys already know this, but I'm showing you these cases from the right side, where if you have the same setup from the left, you would just do it the same way, but on the left side of the cube. So this one in particular, you would just need to put this edge piece right here, take it out into this pairing, and then insert it into this column here by just rotating and inserting into the back. Alright, so let's look at something like this again, but from the back angle. So if we're looking at these two pieces from here, it's the same thing as before, where you would just need to bring this corner piece up here and pair them together like this, and then insert into the back slot. Or something like this, where you have the corner piece down here once again, and the edges up here not oriented. If you're holding this from the back like this, the same thing applies to the front. From here, we would just need to bring this edge right here, and then bring them up like this to pair them up. So we can do the same thing from back here. So we would just need to bring this edge right there, bring up the corner, and then pair them together in a good pairing like that, and then rotate to insert. So yeah, not really too much is different within all these cases from doing them from the front and the back, or the different ways of looking at them. This one might be a little challenging, however. Whether or not this edge is oriented, it's sometimes hard to tell what color is on the side of the corner piece back here. If this is the last corner piece that you're working with, where all the other columns are filled, sometimes you can deduce which color this is on the side just by knowing what color this is. This color will always be this color right here if this is the last one. But if this isn't the last one, or you're just not sure, the best way to tell is just by doing something elementary and bringing this up to meet the edge piece. And then you'll clearly be able to see which pairing you get, whether it's a good pairing like this, or if it's an opposite pairing where this color is opposite from this one. If you bring it up and it is a good pairing, you just need to move it out of the way, bring this cross piece back down, and then now you have a good pairing that needs to be inserted with the rotation. Or for example, if you bring this up and this is an opposite color, so it would be an opposite pairing, you just need to put this back down, move this edge over here, and then now you can bring them both up. And imagine that these were opposite colors, of course. Move these both over here, put this cross piece back down, and then you would be able to bring these back into this position. And if this were an opposite pairing, then you'd be able to just insert like this. So if we look at something like this one more time, if we had it from this angle, not really too much changes on how to get it out. As before, you would put it here and then maybe do this. But if you get the same exact case from the side, where now this edge would not be oriented, then of course you just have the other case where now you would pair them together in the same way as before. So yeah, just make sure that you know how to do it from the front, and that should translate well from the sides and from the back as well. Keep in mind, there are often other ways to solve certain cases. Just experiment with them and see which ones work best. These are just the ones that work best for me, in my opinion. A general rule of thumb for finding the best possible solutions is to count moves. So if you try one solution and it uses 10 moves rather than 11, it might be better. The only cases where it's not better are the cases where they include a rotation, where I would count rotations as being maybe a move and a half. And then finger tricks also play a role in that too. So if you're using some harder finger tricks and you have the same move count, try to do the one with easier finger tricks. That's kind of obvious, but I thought I'd point it out. So, congratulations, you have now successfully made it through every single F2L case that you will ever run into. So once again guys, that's really all it is to F2L, just matching up the pieces as efficiently as possible. Try not to create extra moves for yourself, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But if you master this part in the series, it will cut down your times significantly. So in the past videos I have done example solves. I'm still going to do one example solve for this video, but I'm going to do it very specifically. I don't feel the need to make a scramble for you guys to follow along with, as I just want to showcase the F2L tricks that we learned in this video particularly. So instead of me giving you a scramble to follow along with, I'm just going to have you maybe replicate the same thing on your cube if you're using a cube to follow along with. I'm going to set up my cube personally to have one of these cases. I'm going to start with the cross already done and then move right into F2L, and if I see cases that we've worked on today, then I'll go ahead and do those, and if I don't, then I'll make another case that isn't that into the one that we're working with today. That sounds confusing, but let's just get into it and I'll show you. The reason that I'm showcasing this at all today is because I want you to think about how you can improve the cases that you're already struggling with. So for example, if it turns out that you are struggling with cases like these today, then you can go ahead and set these up for yourself within your own solves. What I mean by that is if you have a case like this, and this is relatively easy for you to figure out just based off of your previous advanced F2L knowledge, you can set this up into one of the cases that we worked on today just by doing something like this. And then now you have these two pieces ready to be solved with the knowledge that you gained from today's video. And that goes for any of the cases. So if that first example was a case that you normally would struggle with, I would just recommend setting this up as much as possible and then making sure that you have the most optimal solution for pairing these two up and then inserting. So just for the example's sake, today I'm going to artificially make these cases so that way we can go over them. Alright, so from here, the cross, like I said, is already solved. So we just need to pair these two up in the most efficient manner. So yeah, I have these two artificially set up. So I'm just going to do the pairing that is most optimal to my knowledge. And of course I need to do that algorithm that I showed you earlier in the video by pairing them up like this and then inserting. So now normally we would look at something like these two, and if you're familiar with these two and you know how to pair them up, that's good. You can take this opportunity to make these into a more difficult pair that you're struggling with. So again, if it is from something in this video, you can just make these two into maybe this case. If you're looking at this and you're confused, where normally you know how to do this case, but the edge is back here, again, all you need to do is recognize that you need to put this in the proper place, and then it turns back into this. So it doesn't matter if it's from here, from here, from here, even if it just starts out right here, just know exactly where to put this, and then you'll be good to go. Just pair them up, insert. Alright, keeping the same thing going, we have this pair, but if you want to practice today's video pairings, we have this one. So we know that the edge is oriented, so we just need to do the solution that solves this. It's actually better just to go ahead and leave this here and recognize that this is oriented from just looking at it here. But you know that you need to leave this edge piece here, bring up this corner piece like that, turn it into this, and then you need to break these two apart into an opposite pairing where you will then insert. And then finally we're left with this, so we can go ahead and set it up into one of the cases from today. And then again you have this case where you just put it here, bring it out, and recognize that this edge is oriented, so all we need to do is insert like this, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. And then again, if you were struggling with any of the cases from the previous videos, such as this one, just make sure that you're getting good practice in on them by turning them into these cases and then solving the best way that you know how. So guys, that's really it. There wasn't too much to go over in this video. With this knowledge, everything that you've learned in these 4 parts, just go and practice it as much as you can. We have just 1 or 2 more topics to talk about before we start moving into the last layer. In the very next video, we're going to be talking about color mutuality, which is a topic that does need discussion, but I'll leave it for that video to tell you what my thoughts are on that. So yeah guys, I get to give you a relatively short video packed with useful information, and you get to go practice it. I'd say that's a win-win. So, I will catch you in the next one guys. Bye. So that leaves us today with the final cases that we'll be looking at, and those are the edge pieces being within the U layer, and then the corner pieces being in the D layer.